We're off.
There we go. We are live.
Welcome, everybody.
You're not going to blow your nose.
Yeah, of course I am.
Great.
Yeah, welcome everyone to our Sunday live stream, and welcome Faye and Simon. How are you doing?
Hello. We are good.
I was trying to remember, have we chatted on a live stream before? I know we've met in person. But...
We have with you, Nick. Not Andrea wasn't there.
No, it was on. Was it on Peter's? I think
it's an evening. I think.
Maybe. I think we have, but we might have been on Peter's, and there was one where we were sitting in the garden having all sorts of technical issues because I had cables strewn around the place, and we just ended up sort of just leaving out the back door basically.
Issues never. I don't believe it. Anyway, welcome everybody who's watching us live. We'll say a few hellos in a minute. We thought we would chat about things we can actively do if sales are bad. We were just saying before we went live that a lot of people across the board have been saying sales are down. I know you guys made a video recently, which I haven't seen, but I think you
have seen it,
about that subject. And we'll chime in with thoughts, maybe think about reasons, and then things we can actively do to talk about to mitigate that. And you can put things in the chat. Is that Jeff barking?
No, I was going to say, is that your dog's barking?
Oh.
No. We thought if we had them nearby, they might chat to each other. But so they're downstairs, we're upstairs. It's not us.
Maybe it's next door.
It must have been.
It's not Jeff.
Anyway, so yes,
for a change.
Before we kick off, and we'll let you do an introduction for people that may not know your channel. I will just say a few hellos and let people join us. We've got 169 in already, which is good. Hi, Tina. Leanne is with us. Always enjoy Faye and Simon's chats. There you go.
Aw, thanks, Leanne.
George is with us. There's Peter, Jennifer. So a few more hellos. Helen, good to see you. There's Maggie, lots of regulars. Hello. Jersey, CI Treasure Hunter. Pat. Right, let's get further down. Phil, did you see Phil has managed to replace Minnie's nose?
Oh, no.
He was,
I've seen that.
and found her husband.
Oh, I saw.
You saw the husband.
I saw the husband, but not the nose.
Anyway. Babs, welcome. Jan, lots of people. Right, I'm going to whiz to the end. Hi, Richard and Ben,
And
Porkies.
Raymond's in as well. I don't know if you said a letter.
Hi, Raymond. Lots of chat. Right, I'm at the bottom.
And so,
That was quick.
there we go.
Right, Jake. Right, excellent.
You didn't pre-sell this one tonight. You popped it on quite late, didn't you?
Well, we did because
last
we
week.
were out all day, and yeah, we both came home and had a nap.
Did you? We didn't have time to nap.
No.
Yeah, we had a full-on nap. We're getting old, you see. We said before, we all watched the Eurovision last night. We had a few drinks and chatted with friends. Didn't go to bed particularly early, and then went out yard sailing, and it just takes it out of you.
Well,
really
I think it's because like Friday night we went out round to a friend's house, so we didn't get to bed until gone 1, and then we were up at 8, and then we were out at 8, so we were up at 7.
That was early for us.
That is early for that. Yeah, that doesn't happen often in this house, does it? No.
Yeah.
So, and then again another late night and early morning, and we were just shattered. So
Yeah. Oh, Alan's in. Hello, Alan. Hope you're well, mate. It's been a while. So would you like to give yourselves an introduction? You have a YouTube channel that I'm sure many people follow. If they don't, you can talk about that. Over to you.
You can go.
Well, we are Faye and Simon, if you don't know us, and we used to live about 10 minutes from Nick and Andrea, and when we started, we decided to sort of become self-employed. The day after we got married, we were sitting around and we said, let's quit our jobs and become self-employed. We didn't really have a plan.
Didn't have a plan at all.
We didn't have a plan at all. Reselling actually definitely wasn't on it.
No.
And then we sort of flitted from this to that. We were doing sort of social media stuff. We were doing freelance stuff. And then one day Faye came to me and said, there's this guy in Hitchin who films himself in his garage selling stuff on eBay. You should check it out. And because I had a sort of Amazon background and eBay to a lesser degree, but Amazon really, I sort of thought I'd find out what it's all about.
No, I had to say it about 5 times.
Right, yeah. And so that's what we did. And I binged a bunch of your videos and a few others. And we thought, right, we better get on board with Instagram. So we were F&S resellers at first on Instagram. And we were just putting ourselves out there. I had no idea what we were doing. And then I thought, right, we'll start a YouTube channel, because there's things I want to say. And, you know, sometimes you have to get these things out. And if you're already, I suppose, conversing with a bunch of resellers, then you can sort of have, you know, you've already got that network where you can kind of really shoot the breeze. Is that the phrase?
I don't know.
But so I wanted to start the YouTube channels as well because I wanted to do more long form videos, and I wanted us to talk about our reselling life and sort of share, because we'd received a lot of help. You know, we'd received help from like your videos and other people's videos, so we thought we've definitely got something to say. So we started. Thanks, BCP's put our channel up, and we're chasing. Yeah, so we're chasing down like 3,000 subscribers at the moment, which is really good. We had a couple of videos recently that sort of pushed that up. The latest being, it didn't do lots, but
last weekend, wandered around the garden and stuff.
Yeah, eBay is dead. Seemed to do the trick in terms of views. And before that, it was all about the personal clothing thing, and that caused a bit of split discussions. I think a lot of people took the video the wrong way, but anyway, so yeah, that's kind of who we are. We're married, we're resellers. There's 2 of us. We're married to reselling.
Good stuff. Yeah, thanks, BCP. That is the link. I've also put your channel link below. If you're watching this after the fact, you can just click that link below, go and have a look. And the Happy Thrifter, 2 of my faves. Happy Thrafter even. 2 of my faves on the same screen. Must be me and Simon. We'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never find that out.
So you mentioned your recent video about eBay is dead. I don't know how tongue-in-cheek that was. I haven't seen it yet. But that's what we're going to talk about, the fact that many people in our little corner of the world, our little community, have been very open about how slow eBay is. And you kind of came up with the idea about, let's talk about things we can do to mitigate that. So what are your thoughts?
Well, just refer to my notes. My lengthy notes that I've written through the day. Well, I thought it would be a good thing to talk about because, well, personally, I like talking about things that, you know, there's a lot of things that get talked about in the reselling community, and it doesn't always go down very well because, you know, certain things are seen just to be sort of negative, but I like talking about reality, and it doesn't necessarily have to be my reality or someone else's reality, but it's someone's reality somewhere. And this particular sort of subject, I think, you know, it can delve into not just about what to do at the slow time. So, you know, can be to do with organizational, can be to do with diversifying, could be to do with just like getting into the nuts and bolts of your eBay account and making some changes. You know, retail is detail.
I don't know about YouTube or anyone else watching, but Simon's very process driven. I am just throw something and hope it sticks kind of person, and he's very process driven. So I know when I'm doing something that I'm thinking, should I be doing this? Would Simon think I should be doing this? What would he tell me to do instead of doing this? I get that a lot. So yeah, he if it's dead and I want to go and put my feet up and think, yeah, maybe someone will buy something tomorrow, he'll be like, no, but we could do this, and this. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I must admit, both of us are kind of see what happens kind of people, and when things slow down, it takes a lot for me to push me into action, like do a load of sell similars or go and tweak a load of prices. So yeah, we are much more see what happens.
I think
we're far too relaxed about it, if I'm honest.
I think you see, I think because Faye is naturally more of a worrier than me, if I can put it like that, just a little bit. You're only a little bit more.
I'm a frantic worrier all of the time.
So
Yeah.
I think what helps in our business relationship, is that, you know, the reason I'm all about trying to find solutions to problems, and sometimes that, you know, when you're talking about eBay, sometimes, you know, you could try 1,000 things and one day they'll work, and you could do exactly the same thing and the next day they won't. So, you know, there's not always a method in the madness, but
No, it's not exact science, is it?
For me, I go out looking to take action, I suppose, so I can kind of appease, you know, try and help Faye's worry by saying, look, you know, we can do this. We haven't done this. We haven't done price changes for 2 months.
You're like, get a grip, woman.
Yeah, yeah. You know, on Airplane, when the lady's having the hysterical fit in the film Airplane, it's a bit like that. It's people queuing up to slap her. And, no. I think.
Actually, I think just on that point, I think sometimes just taking action is enough to calm you down and think, you know, I've actually done something positive. Also, to one of your points there, you never quite know if what you're doing has an effect or whether it was going to sell anyway, right? And people have completely different results, as the other thought I had when you were talking, because we did a video recently about sell similar, end and sell similar. A load of people on that said, I've never tried this before. It's just turned my sales around completely. Thank you, 100%. Next comment, this does nothing, didn't change anything for our store. Yeah. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I watched that video today in preparation for our conversation. I watched your video and I read the comments and saw exactly the same. You know, the guy who had 1,000 computer games or something and they weren't selling, and then he relisted a bunch and 10 sold overnight or something like that. He did sell similar. He followed your, you know, from the horse's mouth, from eBay's. I was interested to know actually who that was. Was that just a rep on the phone? Did you phone up panicking saying, "Oh, sales are rubbish"? And they said, "Try this." Or what?
On the back of our eBay debacle that dragged on for the best part of a month, they offered us various things. One of which was a rep from Ireland to come on and talk through all the different things we can do to help sales and this, that, and the other. It was just one of the things they did to try and appease us afterwards.
It was like an eBay Academy thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And initially we thought, right, well, we've been reselling on eBay for 22 years. So
yeah, we were kind of, what are you going to tell us? But there was actually some helpful things in there. And like I think I said in that video, it was nice to confirm some things and you know, and debunk other things. There was a lot of that went on in our conversations.
Yeah.
But that's what that was. I can't remember his name, but it was a chap from Ireland. Was it Owen?
Yes.
A chap called Owen.
I found it interesting, you know, the 90-day, you know, he put a timeline on it. You know, he's put a timeline on it to 90 days. And obviously, you know, 90 days, quite a sort of familiar timeline for eBay sellers because it's your, you know, what sits in your 90-day sales total. So, it you know, it's interesting that they've given that number. I mean, because we have, for us, I sort of look at 90 days as being old now, but it's only when I get to about a year that I ever bother thinking about getting as drastic as selling similar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then over a year we just bin them. You know, we delist and donate or pack it all up, send it to auction. You know, an auction house, and deal with our sort of slow stuff. But often, really, for us, I just find it's more than anything, it's down to the price and. You know, there's so many ways to do reselling. A lot of our stock, we don't choose it. It's we sort of target some of it in auction lots, but a lot of the things that we list, we had no intention of buying. It's just what came in the auction lot. So sell-through rates, all that sort of stuff kind of go out the window. It's just like, right, well, I've got this. I'm going to list it. Or, you know, obviously we don't list everything. We do
there is stuff. Yeah,
stuff that
I do get rid of stuff. Yeah. Obviously, I do still list broken things, not everything. Some broken things have value, as you probably know. But yeah, like if there's a lot of like commemorative royal cups and I don't know, Prince Charles and Diana on their wedding day egg cup or something. No, I don't list a lot of those. I do have a quick look to see if it's worth it because some do sell, but a lot of that goes to the charity shop.
Yeah, for anyone, I guess probably worth mentioning for anyone watching, we're talking about auction lots of mainly ceramics, breakables, glassware, that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's not like
we buy it in bulk.
You know, it's not like picking up a Indiana Jones trilogy and being able to look exactly what the sell-through rate is for that DVD set. You know, this is stuff that probably, you know, there might not be another one in circulation.
We haven't done auction buying for a while, but you end up with crates full of ceramics and stuff. You end up with things, and people actually ask us, why are you bothering listing that for $3.99? Because I've got it. It owes me nothing because I sold the one thing out of that crate for 50 quid. Everything else owes me nothing. I could set fire to it and still be in profit.
Yeah. We've only done it a couple of times. Like I bought a box that had Port Merion in, but it also had a load of other stuff in it that I really didn't want. So yeah, some of it I donated, some of it I listed.
So to my mind, you might as well spend 5 minutes listing it and make a couple of quid because it's all extra money. But people say, why are you listing this rubbish?
Yeah.
In your store, it's like because I own it and I want to sell it and get rid of it.
Until you take it out of the box and look at what you've got, you don't know. And then at that point, you've kind of by the time you've worked out what it is, you might as well list it. Like you've done the work. So and the listing part, you know, 6 photographs and a quick description, you know, doesn't take long, and it is so surprising. And
things sell.
Everyone that sells on eBay, you know, no one's surprised at what you can sell on eBay. It's unbelievable the things that people will buy.
Oh yeah, but sometimes it's those little sort of filler items that sell before the item that you actually bought the lot for, and you're like, oh, see that
the
coming.
thing that you had to force yourself to list because you hate it and it's rubbish and it's not great. It flies out.
Yeah.
I know. We sold, you know, these 2 ink sliders. Faye had to explain what it was, but it was actually probably more my era than your era.
No.
So 5 years older. But no, you know, little sliders that you put on top of your ink pot, and it's just basically open and close. Made out of metal.
On your school desk back in the day, they just like covered your ink pot for your quill.
And they were just in the bottom, you know, in the bottom of the thing, and sold for £35 plus post. I was just like, what? No. You know, it's just incredible what you can sell. So for us, we get those sort of comments as well, and it's just like, well, we've bought the lot. We're not going to just put it in landfill,
but also,
you know, we'll get the money out of it.
People say, "What, you'd be better off taking it to the car boot," and I strongly disagree with that for a number of reasons. I don't like standing around in the field selling stuff. That drives me insane. It takes me a matter of 2 minutes to list something on eBay. I don't know how quick you guys are at listing, but once you've done it a lot, you can just smash your way through it, can't you? Especially with like hard goods. Clothes take longer for me, but something like a little vase or a little studio pottery pot that I've found out about, I can get that listed in like so quick. I could do 30 of them in a day if I really put my mind to it. So to me, it's a no-brainer to list those things. And they do fill your store with things.
Yeah, and
it's good to have your good numbers, I think.
Yeah, and it's literally a case of you could sell something on eBay for a £5 plus post, and you'll make the same money as you would if you sell it at a car boot sale for £2.50, and you don't have to leave your house.
Yeah.
And there's costs involved, not only the time to sell at a boot sale. We sell at a boot sale maybe a couple of times a year, just to have that clear out. And we go with the intention of just getting rid. So we're ruthless when we do that. But you've got to stand in the field for like 3 or 4 hours at least, and there'll be £10 fees. So there's still costs involved in that anyway. It's not, you know, money for nothing.
Exactly.
You highlighted Maggie before.
I did. I highlighted Pippi Maggie, who said, I find it's harder to list when sales are slow than when sales are high, even though you know that it's what you need to get it to get.
It's really a good point. There is also a flip side, because I think sometimes if our sales start pinging, it's very tempting to say, "Oh, should put our feet up for a day." You know, should we? You know, because sales are great, and take the focus off as well. But yeah, when I think you said that the other day, we're sort of having a slow sales day, and you're listing stuff, and it's just like, what, you know, why am I bothering? And then the next day you get some sales in, and you forget all about it.
Well,
was going to say our eBay has been very erratic, would be the word I would use. But I think a lot of that, I think you have to look at yourself. And our listing has been very erratic. And I know if I put a couple of days in and get 50 items listed, our sales will, quadruple, right? So a lot of it is down to us. But there is also an overriding feeling in the community that it's getting harder. eBay is getting harder, and I can't quite put my finger on what that is. Our downs are lower, right?
Yeah.
When things swing down, they swing right down.
Yeah.
So,
You see a downturn as soon as the weather got better. I mean, it's just obvious people are shopping less.
Yeah, I sort of agree with that. But then I said to you the other day, there's always a reason though. Whenever it's dead, someone will say, oh yeah, it's because there was that big football match yesterday everyone was watching, or the weather was good, or it was the coronation, or kids are on holiday, or there's always a reason. And I get it, but it's just not good enough for me.
I think the thing is because in the community, a lot of people are selling the same sort of stuff. And, so probably 90% of the people that we follow on Instagram are selling clothing. So if clothing is suffering, everyone's suffering. But what you're not hearing from are the people selling paddling pools and fans and, and that's, so that does skew your
It's a very good point.
Your
also,
understanding.
I think generally people share when they're struggling and vent when it's bad. And our community now is huge compared to what it used to be. So there's always someone saying it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean?
There's always someone saying it's amazing.
Yeah, and then you're in this kind of little echo chamber of all the other people that are agreeing it's terrible, going, mine's terrible too.
Well, the moment you start watching one YouTube video about how sales are bad, those are the videos, those are the titles that you start seeing more of, because that is what it starts pushing you towards.
Yeah, but going back to clothing, actually, I mean, I think there is definitely people are noticing a difference if they're business sellers. And a friend of ours, she's predominantly a clothing seller, does other things as well, but she's noticed that since the free listing thing, that her sales have dropped through the floor. And then the one thing that she did to try and mitigate what was going on and also to keep herself busy is to do massive stock take, and then found that like how many things had dropped off, like
crazy amount.
60 things had dropped off.
Look at Faye. What were we talking about yesterday?
You were like, oh, let's do a stock take. Like, he was excited about it. I was like,
yeah, I quite like that. We try and do one a year. We should do more.
I didn't do one this year,
But I reckon Andrea's got loads of stuff's not listed.
Potentially, yeah.
Is it something you do together, or do you have your stock in one place, Nick, and you have yours somewhere else?
Well, all the listed stock is in the shed now, so
yeah. We don't have masses listed. It wouldn't take us long.
No.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We have in our breakables, we have 32 crates at the moment, and in our custom SKU is the crate number. So it's very, very easy for us to print out the list or just sit in front of the laptop, search for the custom SKU, crate 1, crate 2, whatever, have the crate in front of us and say yes, no. And and that could add up to a lot of money, and that's also profit that's not been made and not been reinvested, and it does have a big effect, which is why I get excited about doing it, because it does have a positive impact.
And you get to have a spreadsheet as well.
One thing, talking about things you can do, and I think I mentioned it in that video about end and sell similar, is that when you go through that process, and I know people who do that every month with anything that hasn't sold within, at the end of that month, they'll end sell similar. And it really, I think Derek still does that. But one thing I think it's important to do at that point is quickly check your competition. Because when you listed it, you might have been the only one and you put it up for 30 quid. Now there's 5 other people selling it way less. Yours is not going to sell. It's as simple as that, right? So periodically checking your competition, tweaking it. Actually get your eyes on your listing and check for the spelling mistakes and the keywords you missed out, that sort of stuff. I think that's time well spent, and I'm trying to get into those good habits. And you do catch things. You catch things you've missed out. messed up on or misspelt, all of that stuff. Yeah.
And here's the trap that a lot of people get into. Market Man Mike says, my sales improve if I actually list stuff. I've a bad habit of buying and not listing, and I think I'm on a 10-day run of not listing anything. Yeah. And Porky here says, as I always say, if listing is one of your biggest fails, don't be surprised if you have no sales.
Oh, wow.
As a t-shirt idea there.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it, there's no denying some of it comes down to our inability to get things done and list, but it's not all that, is it? Not everything is that issue, and it does feel like there's something wider at play. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. People always, I think, just point at the new thing that is the problem. Some people have said, oh, it's Whatnot, and I don't think that's having much effect on eBay. What are your thoughts? I don't think it's big enough.
No, it's not big enough at all. No one knows about Whatnot apart from resellers.
Yeah.
Well, I'd kind of agree with that.
I think I'd agree with that. I mean, I have to put myself in the. I don't buy a lot of clothes at all. You know, the only new clothes I ever get are ones that are bought for me. Basically, isn't that right?
Yeah, but
that sounds. Faye doesn't like the sound of that, but.
I don't like. I'm not your stylist.
No.
No.
Where I'm going, I realise that sound. Where I'm going with that is that I find it hard to put myself in a Whatnot buyer's shoes, and who's buying clothing. Luna's here, and and also in a clothing buyer's shoes on eBay. But if I was a fanatic clothing buyer for myself, for my own styling, I just can't imagine sitting through hours and hours of live streams.
Oh, in the hope.
Waiting for that thing to come along. And obviously there's people that are happy to do that because, you know, you could be just watching a men's clothing stream, and there could be lots of men's clothing, and a lot of it could be XL, and therefore a lot of it might appeal. But you know, that's going on obviously, but I think, you know, it's not going on enough for me to think it's just disrupting the eBay's sales.
I'm pretty sure it's there's certain people Whatnot will never appeal to, and they're not going to get convinced, and it's not going to overtake traditional. There's a list of things, you look for what you want and you buy it. The convenience of buy it now on eBay or Amazon, come to think of it, is never going to be replaced by Whatnot. Whatnot is more of an experience buying thing.
Yeah.
It's a show. It's literally that. People make an effort and they put on a show, and you get wrapped up in the auction side of it. But it's not going to everybody. It still remains to be seen, and the jury's out whether it will last and be a viable thing here in the UK. Yeah. But you can't deny the numbers in America. When you look into that, it's doing incredible numbers. So who knows? And now, of course, eBay's. I know you did a video on eBay's launch of their live selling. Have you got some thoughts on that yet? What are your opinions? Is that something you're going to pursue?
I'd like to. I do think they started off well with having a celebrity for a start. That's what they needed on Whatnot when they launched Whatnot here. They needed some kind of celebrity endorsement. But I think because so many people trust eBay, so many people are used to eBay. eBay's been around, I mean, teenagers and sort of 20-year-olds. eBay's been around their whole life, which is a little bit sort of scary. So yeah, I think people will be more interested in eBay live selling when they launch it because they trust it as a brand.
I mean, and there's already going to be so many members on eBay at that moment when people are streaming. So
yeah, the database is massive.
The audience is already there. Like, yeah, not everyone's going to want to buy in that style, but it's a bit, you know, similar to when we buy at auction, when we buy online. We don't sit through the whole stream. We'll set an alarm for the ones that we're interested in. We don't sit through all 8 hours of it. You know, we'll work out, right, we're sort of lot 400, so that's going to be in 2 hours roughly time. But we set the alarm on the auction site, and if we're doing other work, off it goes, and we go and bid. And I would imagine if they, I would imagine eBay will probably adopt something similar, because there's nothing like that on Whatnot. Well, I'd hope eBay would adopt something similar, because you can't do that on Whatnot. You know, if people preload the clothes, there's no alarm setting to sort of wake you up when you 2 hours in on the item that you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of live,
while I think of it, because I didn't watch that eBay stream, we missed it. But have they sorted out the taking payment instantaneously? Because that side of it, Whatnot has nailed that. It's so slick.
yeah, I don't know, because it was the celebrity and the like head of style or something for eBay that were doing it. They weren't sort of talking about the payment side of it at all, I assume. Yeah, I don't know. They didn't, you know, they weren't saying, Catherine Ryan wasn't sort of saying they better bloody pay, you know.
Yeah.
Or otherwise I'm going to give them a strike after 96 hours.
I think that will be interesting, because obviously eBay are looking at Whatnot. They have to be. They're not blind to it. And Whatnot have made that so slick and so pain-free from the seller's point of view.
Yeah.
eBay need to at least be as good as.
I'm confident they will be. Is Luna licking your leg?
Yeah.
Um,
I've been trying to ignore her for about 5 minutes, but it's getting a bit much now.
Yeah, I'm convinced that eBay will nail it. I've got high hopes for them. But yeah, I was just thinking actually about eBay and it being dead. When if you to the algorithm, you know, the algorithm that no one really knows what the algorithm is. If you're like listing, because I don't know about you guys, but I could list like in the winter when it's miserable outside, I could do 20 listings like 5 days a week and just be smashing it. And if you just take a back seat and don't do that, do they think, well, if you can't be bothered, then we can't be bothered either? So they like hide you.
From the little we know, they don't at all. It's in their interest to sell stuff. There's whole loads of theories around there.
There was comments about.
I don't think they hide you, but I think certainly because you're not sort of feeding the beast, as you'll say. You know.
Yeah, but that's just logic. If you're listing more stuff, people are seeing fresh stuff that's up at the top of the ranking because the algorithm does promote new items. Yeah. I think that's just logic. I think we're all looking for conspiracies and reasons that aren't necessarily there.
There was comments. Yeah, I agree with you. There was comments on your video that said, you know, about shadow banning. So you get shadow banned after 90 days. And there was people saying we should take eBay to court. You know, we're paying them to list our products, but then they're shadow banning us, and therefore we're paying for nothing. And I can't see that. You know, I just can't see that. I completely agree with you. New listings, yes, because you get the new listing thing. Promoted listings, yes. Everything goes up. What, you know, if something's going up, something else is going down, and that's as simple. There's only so many pages people are willing to scroll through before they come across your items. And if they don't come across it, they won't buy it.
Didn't you ask directly?
I did ask some questions directly about some of the conspiracies, and they basically kind of dismissed it. Well, they didn't avoid it, but it was like, no, it's just not the case. eBay has no reason to hide stuff from people and not sell it. They only make money when they sell, and they don't care if it's your thing that sells or mine.
Yeah.
I've just commented Alan's comment here that says, I'm not always convinced that things are working behind the scenes at eBay as they want us to believe. My shop listings haven't once balanced to my active listings this year.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to deny that the tech side of eBay fails far too often. How often have you seen that? It's not you, it's us little screen recently, right? Yeah.
I've never told eBay that myself. I've never rang them up and said, it's not you, it's me.
Yes, I didn't dispatch this on time.
Yeah.
But has it been quiet for you? Have you? So you said there's been sort of dips. Have you looked at other platforms? Have you been? Do you still do Etsy, you guys, or?
Yeah, we still do Etsy. That's like
it's drip feed with Etsy. We get occasional really nice sales that are much stronger than what we would have got on eBay, but it is slow for us.
Yeah, I feel as if I concentrated on that, I could probably build that up. And,
yeah,
you know, but I don't.
we don't do Amazon at all now. We dropped that and left their platform and have no intentions of going back. So that's something we now don't have. We, of course, have started to try Whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we've watched your shows.
yeah, I mean, it's so far, touch wood, gone really well. And we're going to continue. I think I'm going to do action figures one. We're going to do
Vintage
a
clothing.
clothing one. We have some vintage clothing stock that we're just going to cash in on and get rid. We're still not sure if that's something long term that's going to, you know, that we're going to pursue really. And we're itching to try eBay's version of.
And it's certainly not something that we're going to do like every week, I think, because it's just, it is a lot of work and it takes us away from eBay.
It's demanding. I find it's sort of mentally draining. I do find it really hard to,
Yep.
when you sort of committed to a show at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, just knowing that you've got to be there and ready, that I find that very overwhelming. So I think
it felt to me, or it still feels like it's a young person's game. It feels. I mean, we chatted to John Luke.
We should stop going on about how old we are.
but they're doing shows like every other day and just loving life. I'd be shattered if I was doing shows every other day.
Yeah, but I suppose if you're concentrating on that and that is your business, and you know,
I watched that one and I thought, how on earth are we going to follow that? you know, you got, I mean, they are so dynamic and so on point, and you know, they're thriving off it, aren't they? We don't talk to them. They don't know us, or you know, we don't have any. We only know what they choose to share, obviously.
Yeah,
but
they are putting in ridiculous hours. I mean, we've been the younger versions of what you see now did that. You know, I was working 7 days a week and putting in easily 12-hour days, if not longer.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
No, exactly. But we probably could if we wanted to.
Oh.
It's just that we don't. We're out of the habit of it now.
Oh.
Have they got a dog? Do you know if John Luke's got a dog?
I don't
see. If we didn't have the dogs, I don't know if it's the same with Jeff, but if we didn't have the dogs, I probably would. But I just love cuddles on the sofa with them in the evenings and cuddles on the bed in the morning.
We do sort of look back and say, do you remember when we used to...
You say it.
I look back and say, do you remember when we, particularly in our old house, and it was before we got the dogs, do you remember when we used to be sat in the office in the evenings till midnight, smashing it, like really like doing this, doing that, so much going on. And now, you know, we've sort of got comfortable. And, you know, those two guys, they're just making hay, aren't they, at the end of the day, whilst the sun is shining?
Well, I'm going to start as I mean to go on tomorrow morning.
Right.
And I'm going to make hay.
Are you getting up at 7 then?
Didn't say that.
But you know, and they're thriving off it, aren't they? But they were talking about work-life balance and needing to readdress that. So, but you know, we're probably a bit too far the other way.
Do they sell on Depop as well?
I don't know.
I was going to say, I bet they know how to sell on Depop.
I don't know. But we are, I mean, we said it many times, but we're all at a different place. The business that we build around us is because of who we are, our personalities, and what we're trying to get out of it, really.
Yeah,
absolutely.
If it's not right, we've only got ourselves to blame. And we're in a very, very different place to them at the moment. And we said that in the discussion. And we're trying, if anything, to work less. I'm not very good at that.
But just talking about us cuddles on the sofa, when we lived in our old house, he used to like spend most of the evening and you know, right up until like 4 a.m. or whatever in the tack cave. But now you bring a box of stuff in, we sit down on the sofa in front of the telly, and Jeff cuddles up between us, and then you work through a box of stuff.
I've got a very different working routine now. We'll sit and watch, you know, like Baby Reindeer or something. Have you been watching that? And I'll be on the sofa, and I'll be working. It doesn't feel like work, but I'll get 10, 20 listings done. Just sat there watching a couple of dramas on the telly. Yeah.
We've quite just sort of changing the subject slightly. We had a comment on our last video, and I don't know if we put across this image or not, but someone commented on our video and said that we have basically inherited our house and just do what we do for kind of
pennies.
Yeah.
Because we don't need to work.
Yeah.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah, couldn't be further from the truth.
The hilarious thing is, if they knew who owned our house, because it's not us, it would be hilarious.
Yeah. So
if they knew, like, that we could inherit something from the person that owns the house that we live in.
God,
that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So yeah, so we obviously put across that we just have this laid back kind of business, and just just it's like a lifestyle thing. Yeah, couldn't be further from the truth. We do need to ramp it up. We do.
Yes,
we do.
Yeah. Well,
people are very quick to just come up with their own strange conclusions about your life or our life or whatever. We get it all the time.
I bet.
Lots of comments about how we got to where we are and buying the house and all of that. I made a video kind of in response to that actually a while back.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. We pop around in the barn. We pick orders. You can't show everything. We choose to share what we choose to share. We don't share what we choose not to share, and we just hope people enjoy watching that. But yeah, the assumption that I replied to something like, that's a very curious collection of assumptions you've made there. But there you go.
Yeah. Well, I guess maybe they think, oh well, they've sold that vase for $3.99, that jug for $8.99, so yeah, they just must not need the money.
Oh yes, we were going to ask actually. Do you sell on? Have you tried Vinterior as a sales platform?
Yes, I've had no sales yet.
Oh, okay.
How long have you been on there?
It's quite hilarious actually, because I first of all registered to sell on there, and I think they ask you for your website address, don't they? So
yeah,
I put our eBay first, and then heard absolutely nothing. And because I heard nothing, I then tried registering again with a different email address, and then put my Etsy instead. And I was approved with my Etsy, but they rejected our eBay.
It's because it's got my board games and other tats on it. See?
Yeah, so's ours. I put our eBay.
Yeah, but not a lot. There's not a lot of.
Yeah.
There's not much that's not
your tat.
My tat, no, because my tat's all on Amazon. We do cross-list it from Amazon to eBay as well, but I hadn't done it for quite a while, so there really probably was like less than 30, less than 5% would have been. So probably that.
Have you with Etsy and Vinterior? Do you have this? Is it the same stock that's on eBay, or do you have stock for Vinterior for Etsy?
No, I just cross-list. I don't have stock for. I'd get really confused if I had stock for one platform and something for another, and blah, blah, blah. I like how easy it is to cross list onto Vinterior, because you basically just put the URLs in from Etsy and you go. But I think I probably need to put a bit more, like, concentrate and really sit down and have a look at Vinterior and like put a bio in and do all of that, because I just haven't had the time to do it. So yeah.
One thing we noticed with I think we've had 4 sales, which obviously isn't, it's not setting the world alight, but it's always nice to get just one sale on a new platform, because you just don't know what the future is. So it's just worth getting started. But one thing we noticed, it's something that we mentioned on our channel as well, and someone took exception to it. There was the address when we were looking at the order. The address was really striking, and Faye just looked up the address because the building sounded interesting. And when you look up an address on Google, one of the first things you could see is the value of the property, and so that became quite clear. So each order that we've had has been essentially from mansions.
Yeah, they're like sort of houses, if you know what I mean. So like something you sort of be like, oh, that sounds a bit fancy, I'm going to look that up. And it's like, I don't know, 50 bedroom wedding venue and stately home. It's been that sort of clientele that we've been selling to. Yeah,
it's been quite interesting.
Yeah, so I think that, my sort of little bits of bric-a-brac and stuff like that is probably not.
No. It's not that we've been selling high,
No.
It's all been. We sold it was a metal easel. It was like it was jean denim effect.
No, it was metal, but it was made to look like leather.
That's right.
and it was like looked like it had stitching in it. It's really hard to explain.
It was really nice, but it was really hard to make it look good in a photo and all that sort of stuff. But we'd had it on eBay for about 8 months, and every time I opened this particular tub with this thing in it, I said, I can't believe it's not sold yet. Put it on Vinterior, sold 2 or 3 days.
Well,
it was only it was only a £20 sale. It wasn't a big thing, and we sold bookends.
It's clearly they're targeting a different audience, is what
Yeah.
we're saying, isn't it? And it's a different clientele, right?
Yeah.
Not worse, but they're obviously looking for different things. I mean, we've got some amazing mirrors and that sort of stuff. That might be the place for them.
I think a lot of interior designers go to Vinterior, don't they?
Yes.
Yes, because you can offer a trade discount, can't you? Did you tick the box to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go there and find things to dress a house with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read some of the
It is
chat.
interesting because I've been thinking about it a lot and thinking, I really need to sort of sit down and try and work out what I'm going to do with that. Because at the moment, I've just literally just cross-listed and left it open.
Yeah. Well, going back to the subject matter, I think sometimes sitting down and actually having a strategy is worth doing. We're very haphazard and too much so. We're too laid back, like you were saying, perhaps. And sitting down, in the past, we've gone to the pub and had business meetings and tried to strategize things. And there is some merit in that. There really is, because it can focus you on what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, I don't mind a business meeting.
So it has to be in the pub.
Yeah, it has to be, yeah. But it's interesting though, because when eBay's dead, you do think, right, okay, because Narchi's another one, isn't it? That's an app.
I've not tried that for you.
I registered the other day. I think I've listed 3 things on there, but it's the whole, you've got to follow people and then they'll start following you. So it's a bit annoying. But this is the thing, you sort of have a panic because eBay's rubbish. So then you start doing looking at other platforms, and then you have all these other platforms going at once, and you can't give each one the attention it deserves. And then it's just should I just go back to eBay then?
Yeah, then you end up sort of diluting your work, don't you? So you don't really end up doing anything very well. You just do lots of things mediocre.
Yeah. I think it is better to try an experiment. It's like we always said about Whatnot. We didn't have an opinion on it, and we're going to try it. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to work out and be something long term, but
I don't think
we now have an opinion.
It's not going to be a big part of our business, but it's certainly something that we, will do.
It's another tool in your toolbox, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's a very different experience, a different way of selling, and we're learning what works.
And also it's something that, because it's so different, we can have a different mindset when we're sourcing and think, oh, we could buy that, put it away for Whatnot. And the mugs and jugs one went really quite well. So I have an idea of things that I can sort of stash away and pick up when I see it, and with a mind to having another show.
I think the way we're going to tackle it, or we have done and it's worked, is we'll have themed shows that we can promote in advance. And then, so we'll save up a load of Disney, for example, or action figures or board games again, or whatever it is, and then promote that themed show. So we get that audience who's interested in that stuff, and we hopefully sell it all. So that's our strategy. What have we sold?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, car seat covers. Do you remember those beaded things?
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, I picked up 3 of them. I've sold 2 already.
Do they go for good money?
Not really. I think I got 25 for the first one. I think
that one was 30 something.
Was this 30?
Pretty good.
I thought it was on less than that. Anyway, 20 to 30.
Yeah. So we're really behind in the chat, and Chris says the weather, because we were talking about the weather affecting things, and Chris says the weather's been great great today, and yet I've had my best day on eBay for ages.
Maybe Chris sells paddling pools then.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's literally what I was going to say.
We bought a paddling pool yesterday.
I'm just going to go to the bottom of the chat because we've missed so much, so I'm just jumping down. What does it say? Start. Oh,
we missed some.
Was that today?
I don't know if this was today.
I did see something flash up, but I couldn't understand it, so I didn't message.
If these are today, then thank you very, very much, because I wondered what is meant with starred. It just came up. So yeah, thank you for the super chat.
These are super chat.
Today, if they were last week, thank you for them then.
Yeah, thank you so much.
What does that say? Do you guys
use Dehumidifiers.
Oh, dehumidifiers.
We do.
Oh, maybe thinking about the barn and storage. Yeah, we do.
We do a little one, yeah, and collects loads of water, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We have done. We don't currently have one, but they can be essential for sure.
And
We also those little silica things.
Oh yeah.
we hope this sparks a few sales for everyone. Thank you.
That way it did, because you got a ka-ching.
Where's our ka-ching?
We haven't got one.
I was going to highlight a few. We missed all of this chat.
I know, a lot of chat.
I feel bad.
Stop talking.
Read a few out. I don't think eBay hides items. I think eBay just over promotes and favors listings by the eBay giants like Music Magpie. Interesting. I feel everybody has their own little theories on eBay, and none of us really know what's going on. Steve says, I'm finding the tat is slow on eBay at the moment. Doing all right in the cabinet, though. My niche stuff is doing all right. Yeah, I mean, an antique. We tried a cabinet, and then the emporium it was in went under.
Oh no!
Did you get your stuff back?
Yeah. Well,
was this in Hitchin or in Norfolk?
No, this was in Dis near us here.
Oh.
It didn't go under. That actually, the landlord doubled the rent overnight, so it wasn't sustainable, so they had to shut. But, yeah.
Oh
gosh,
that was short-lived.
There's some chat about Whatnot, and Maggie says here, I've noticed that people on Whatnot ask the seller to sell something that is preloaded if they're interested in something. And Tom Trade says, I thought if you had a listing preloaded on Whatnot, buyers have the ability to make a custom bid on the item before it's run to auction. Your bid holds even if not in the show at the time.
We did know that.
Did we know that?
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of stayed away at the moment from preloading things, but talking about John Luke again, in his latest video, they're talking about a new cross-listing platform. Did you see that?
No.
Is it Vendu or?
Vendu. And that's going to be cross-listing to Whatnot as well. And I thought, well, if that, I might consider using that, because at the moment, I just think, what's the point of spending all that time preloading stuff to Whatnot? Because
that takes, it takes ages, and it crashes all the time.
Yeah.
When we were doing it, it crashed. It was so frustrating.
The Vendu one's interesting because you hear a lot of people talk about it in the States, and a lot of people get sort of sponsored by them, and they sent us a message saying, "Do you want to talk about us?" Which we weren't in the right place to do that, because we were like, we don't do clothes. But also I said, well, if you want people using it in the UK, you need clothing resellers, but they were not integrated with the one beginning with V that no one is allowed to sell on. So I sort of said, it's not for us because we're not selling clothing anyway. But I think they'll start to get bigger and bigger. But I think they might now be integrating with the V word.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
I think that's very new, like last few weeks, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when the V Pro is going to be launched.
I'm just going to say Vinted. I've said it now.
Maggie's got an interesting comment. Did you want to read Tommy? Did you read Tommy?
Oh, I did already. Maggie says, I've just had the busiest 3 months I've had in years, because I changed to looking for things that had quick sell-through rates, and those uplifted all my sales, but now I've run out of them.
Oh, that's so annoying when that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think what I could say on this subject, really, beyond the end sell similar, maybe try promote it if you haven't, run a sale, those sort of kind of nuts and bolts things. But then I put, well, you used the word pivot. Did you used to watch Friends? Pivot!
Yeah, pivot. I think we used pivot in the last video, actually.
Oh, did you?
Could well have done. Yeah. Adapt.
And I think that is why I said that, because I was telling Nick about your video and I said you were talking about pivoting.
Yeah, and looking back, we've done that consistently since we started. We've tried wholesale, we've tried Amazon FBA, we've tried doing nothing but Lego, we've tried clothing on a grand scale. It's not that we've always sat back and just said, boy, this is what we do and this is how we do it. And we're still changing things.
Yeah.
And I think that is an essential because reselling does not stay still. The platforms constantly change. What's current, as in what people want, is constantly changing.
Oh yeah, trends are changing.
So to try new niches, like Maggie says, try things that are maybe cheaper but sell quicker, or try things that are luxury, so sell for more, so you have to sell less. I don't know, just try it. I think that's key. I don't know if you've always done that as well.
I think that's why Amazon appeals to certain people, because it's that selling on eBay can feel like you're on the hamster wheel, and you're going around and you're putting stock on and it's coming off, and you know you're constantly in that motion of listing, selling, where, you know, when you look at the Amazon model, particularly with private label, is, you know, when you make your purchase, those sales might last for 2 or 3 months till you have to restock, because, you know, you're doing private label, you know, you're buying 1,000 of something from the Far East or wherever, or, you know, you're buying 1,000 of something from a wholesaler in the UK, sending it all in, and that just, you know, you don't think about it until it runs out. Whereas with eBay, it can feel more like that hamster wheel, because you've got one of that good thing. Occasionally you get two. You know, we had 2 Taylor Swift snow globes that we got at auction for £1.28 each, and they both sold for, I think one sold for 169 and one sold for 175. And you're like, if I could just find Taylor Swift snow globes every day.
That's the two sides of that coin. We've obviously done wholesale, where we'll buy like 5,000 products and get a van full. And in the past, we might have sent that to Amazon, but these days we'll churn it over on eBay. But the margins inevitably are less, like way less, right? But you sell 100 of things, maybe make £5 profit on each. Instead of, like yesterday, we sold a set of bowls for £200 listed for an hour or two. Yeah. You can't get that margin wholesale. No. It just doesn't exist, because everyone would be doing it, right?
Yeah. So, but I suppose how you look at it often is, you know, if you went to a wholesaler and bought 1,000 of something, and assuming it, you know, you weren't procrastinating over the purchase for weeks and weeks and weeks, you know, you just made a decision and bought them, and you did that work, you know, and you sent them into Amazon, that's the equivalent of, you know, that the profit that you could make from that lot, you know, say you £5 an item and you sell 1,000, you make £5,000. That £200 item that you're talking about, you know, that's, you don't get the margins from wholesale, but it's essentially, it's like one, you know, when you, although selling 1,000 items isn't one sale, it's kind of in your working methods, it's one transaction. It's one thing, you know, you buy one set of things, one listing, you box them up, you send them off to Amazon, and you do it once. Just like when you sell your £200 set of bowls, you listed it once, you sold it once. Yep. So I do, because we're all about the treasure hunt. You know, that's what we like doing. So that sale there, I would rather do that, you know, £200 set of bowls, than be scratching around wholesalers looking for something to sell on Amazon. At the end of the day, it's much more fun doing that sort of thing. That's why we.
But do we have to pivot to that to pay the bills? Because we have not inherited this house.
That old chestnut.
Yeah.
And a lot of it does come back to the reasons you're in this, right? Because, you know, we could all go out and get a job, but we don't want to. And is Amazon FBA a bit like just a 9 to 5? It's just, you know, making the numbers work and then sending off 1,000 widgets. Do we really want it? That's not why we got into this. Really?
No, but I suppose at the same time, you're still working for yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'd like both. I'd like the 1,000 widgets, and I'd also like the eBay treasure.
I would say selling on Amazon, you feel more like you're working for Amazon than you feel like you're working for eBay when you sell on eBay. I would say that.
But things have pivoted, because like when we first went self-employed as resellers, we would go out sourcing for the day and come back with hundreds of DVDs that we'd got from charity shops. We could go to like 2-3 towns in a day, and we had so many, and we'd send them in, and they'd all pretty much all sell, and like it was good profit. And obviously the money's not there in DVDs anymore. So we've had to change. But I would love that.
It's there in the right DVDs. Let's just put
Yeah,
that
it is there in the right DVDs, but not as many. It's not as many now.
Yeah.
But I love that.
Gated. I used to do really well on CDs and DVDs, but CDs was more my thing. You know, finding the obscure CDs and that you'd send up and get 20 quid for a CD, whereas on eBay it's like £5, right? But then I was gated in virtually all media, almost overnight.
And being as we do second hand, then you can't ungate because they want receipts.
It was crazy. But yeah, Lex had a question for you. Are you going to Whatnot again? Are you done with Whatnot yourselves?
No, never say never. But with clothes, yes, I think.
Yeah, we haven't shut our account.
No,
but we don't.
I would see.
It.
When we registered, it was as clothing sellers. I think that was the only option we had. But is that what you did? And then you've just you ask?
It was music for us. We haven't done a music show yet.
Brum does this funny one.
I think it's irrelevant what you registered in.
Once you're in, it doesn't matter, does it? You sell whatever, as long as you know. Yeah.
When the general public starts talking about Whatnot, or when I see an advert sponsoring Big Brother or Love Island or something, then yes, I'll probably consider it. But I am not putting the effort in to build their platform if they can't build it for themselves.
And it should be said that you know, there's a lot of people doing a lot of hard work on there, and hats off, because they are making it work as well.
Yeah.
You know, we couldn't really make it work for us. There was too many things like the sort of things that we mentioned earlier, that having to be somewhere at a particular time.
And it was Christmas.
And and it was in December we were doing it as well. So
it
was really bad timing.
22nd of December, I think our last show was. I mean, God.
Yeah, I don't think people. Yeah, there was too many. It didn't. We there was probably decisions that we made that we could have made better decisions about getting into it, that maybe we might have ended up with a different result.
Yeah.
But it was the timing of it. And you know, once Whatnot get you, and they say, you know, you've got to do this many shows in this amount of time to you know, qualify for your bonus.
We didn't really have that side of it, did we?
We didn't.
No, they were really pushing us. Once we had the kind of onboarding thing, it's like, do a show within X amount of days. And we were like, whatever, we're going on holiday.
Yeah, well,
Right.
But that's how we do things. Right?
Rebels.
Yeah.
I wish I'd been a rebel. I wish I'd been a rebel and not done what they told me.
but even now, like from our last show, the next thing is you get a notification from them. When are you going to schedule your next show? And I'll schedule your next show now.
No,
no, thank you.
Yeah, you're getting a boss there again.
Yeah.
Oh yes. We didn't say thank you so much to Ching King. Howdy from Texas, loving the conversation. Wow.
Oh, howdy. Oh, I'd love to be in Texas, like not right now.
No, because there's winds in excess of 60 miles an hour.
I don't like the wind. No.
We loved it over there. Texas was where we were driving. We were on a road trip, and we drove through the border. And I had this massive metal Texas star on the border, and I thought, photo opportunity. I climbed up it and sat on the bottom point of the star, and burnt my ass. It was so hot. I sat on this steel thing in shorts.
Oh no!
Take a picture.
Yeah.
See, but you can remember that more than if you hadn't burnt your arm.
That is true. Yeah.
And I think that might have been the car park where a snake came across and you freaked out.
Yes.
But yeah, love Texas.
So Lex says there is an antiques and collectibles section now. There is, but whether there is a big enough audience and market for it is yet to be discovered.
Well, this is the ongoing question about Whatnot, and we know that we took our audience with us to an extent, right? We promoted the hell out of it, and most of the people that were there came from our YouTube. So that's the reality of our selling on Whatnot, is we created our own audience and it was there instantly. Whether it will grow from that point within Whatnot, I really couldn't say.
It's difficult to know.
Oh, they've just subbed to you. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Lex said that she just had an awesome show and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, Lex is knocking it out of the park with jewelry. That's a very specific niche.
Yeah.
It's working well.
That's good. That is good. It's, you know, if you can get good stock, good prices, you know, where there's enough margin and enough interest, that's absolutely brilliant. We
can get the stock. We can get the stock at good prices.
Yeah, we found a good contact for clothing. Went and saw him. You know, it was a full-on bailing operation. You know,
What even mean now with like bric-a-brac?
Yeah, and you know, but I think everything, the timing and everything was wrong. So maybe, you know, we got put off. I'd love to do bric-a-brac, but I didn't envy seeing you guys doing the packing.
It was
a lot.
And if you're anything like me, which I know you are when it comes to packing, then that yeah, they did have a lot.
How many units did you sell?
30 or 40, was it?
That was orders, wasn't it?
It was all mugs and breakables, and
yeah, a lot of them were multiples. So
yeah,
it doesn't make it any easier with breakables, does it? Because then you're a big box and you have to pad them all separately, and
yeah, we had a bit of a sort of a line going, didn't we? I was wrapping them in bubble wrap, and then he would.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you're thinking, what have I done? What have I done?
Yeah. But we cleared a lot of stock and did way better than we expected on some, and some stuff went cheap and people got bargains. But overall we were very happy to clear that much stuff in an hour or two. So
that is the big pearl, isn't it? It's the what you can sell in the time.
Yes, and I'm still looking for a wholesale deal that would fit that model. I'm not sure. We missed out on one that would have been perfect, but we'll see. We might still go that route. Right, we are already way past the hour. Isn't that mad?
9:10. We need to do our wows.
I'm just going to read the last few comments, and then we usually end these on words of wisdom. I don't know if you've seen, but we will ask the chat for some words of wisdom, and then you can pick a favourite, and we will leave hopefully on a positive. Ross is in. Loved your message about the Royal Mail fraud department to the eBay scammer.
Yeah, was that on your Instagram?
Getting one over on scammers is a hobby. Ah.
Was that us?
No.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Is it?
Loved your message about the Royal Mail fraud department to the eBay scammer getting one over.
Oh, that was me. Yeah, that was on Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I won't explain it.
Trouble with you'll have to. They'll have to come over and follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Trouble with clothing is it's almost too general. I think people should do themed shows. Yeah, I think themed, go super niche. I think, and attract the people that want to be there for that stuff. And then they'll stay around for the whole show.
Yes,
right?
That's like Brum and his vinyl. He has different niches, and then he's obviously fancy dress or whatever. I think that's legendary.
Yeah. John is, he's so clever. You know, he plays it all cool and that, but he's really clever. He knows what he's doing and he does it well. He's a great guy.
Okay, Steve is kicking off the words of wisdom. You've only got to sell it once. They've all got to fight buying it every single time it pops up on their feed after a few beers. What? You've only got to sell it once. They've all got to fight buying it every single time it pops up on their feed after a few beers.
Have you had beers, Steve? I think that's next level advice that's gone over me.
Yeah.
It says, if you want something you've never had, you will have to do something you've never done.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
We say that. Well, you say, like, what do you say?
If you always do what you've always done,
you'll always get
what you always got.
Yeah. If you want things to change, things have to change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or
go on.
The early worm misses the bird.
Hang on a minute.
I haven't had any beer. Yeah, it's all about the early bird catches the worm, but if you're the early worm, you miss the bird.
So if you're the early bird, if you're even earlier than the early bird, then you're winning.
Be an early worm.
BC, please put your Instagram there for anybody that wants to follow you there. Paul Rose says, when selling on eBay, expect very little and you'll seldom be disappointed.
Well, yeah, set your expectations right, maybe.
I don't know. My dad started selling stuff and he's had a better weekend than we have.
Joe Forrest said, if you don't try, you won't know you have failed. You won't know you failed. If you don't try, you won't know.
We won't.
Yeah, we can't measure it then. Yeah.
El Reventa says, the trick with reselling is never to get too up, never to get too down. It will all balance out and you'll win more than you lose. Every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, it is. It's certainly a game of it's the old roller coaster thing. So try and enjoy this part of it, right? It's never really plain smooth sailing.
Enjoy the ride.
And if you can enjoy the process, you've nailed it. But
Yeah.
there's an element of stress to everything relying on you and your ability to sell stuff. You can't avoid that level of stress. So if you can try and enjoy the process and the ride, the ups and downs, then you've nailed it. But I'm not saying that.
We do try and have as much fun as we can along the way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Tamara's only just joined us because she's been watching Monty Python and says, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Don't get that, but okay, cool.
Porky says, look for something positive in each day, even if some days you have to look a little harder.
Yes.
And this is in line with what we were saying. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you want change, change something.
Be the change you wish to see.
That's a lot of work though, isn't it?
Can be. Yeah.
Now, Happy Thrafter says, don't sweat the petty stuff and never pet the sweaty stuff.
Genius.
Yes.
Your bubble wrap, yes.
Yeah. Imagine your bubble wrap. Yeah,
What a
one, babe.
scandal. That was the biggest scandal in years.
Oh. Cha-ching King says, second mouse gets the cheese.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, yes. It does, doesn't it?
Did you see something in there that you want to leave us with? What was your favourite?
Well, other than the bubble wrap, I liked the I can't remember how it was worded, but the one about if you keep doing what you've always done.
yes.
I'm gonna play
That-
it.
oh, no.
Fine.
I like the second mouse gets the cheese.
Oh yeah, actually yes. Yes.
Well, we
That's
both
perfect.
We have one each.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
We've got
Tina's.
Tina's, if you want something you've never had, you will have to do something.
You've never done. Yeah,
And
along those lines. Yeah.
the Cha-ching King, second mouse gets the cheese.
That's just, yeah.
Don't be
No,
hasty.
I'm not sure how that works though. All the time. I mean, does the second mouse get the cheese at the car boot sale?
Yeah, that analogy doesn't work for the boot sale, does it? If
Well,
you
I
get
don't
that
know.
first, you've
It's
got
still
it.
getting unloaded from the car, I suppose. Then maybe. Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
have to say, can we say hello to someone that we met today, please? Doug
Yeah.
and Tony came up to us at the garage sale and said hello, and they watch our videos. They watch your videos too,
And now we're going to tune in tonight.
and they were going to tune in tonight. Yes. So hello, thanks for saying hi.
Hello. Well, on that note, if you haven't subbed to Faye Simon, the link should be below. It's in the side chat somewhere as well. Please go over and have a look. And the Instagram is there as well. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for spending your time.
Thanks a
you
lot.
for
We've
having
really
us.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, we will do it
Great
again
stuff.
sometime. So, everybody in the chat, thank you for your comments. Thanks for your words of wisdom. We'll be back next week, will we?
I think so.
As far as we know.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. We do appreciate it. I think we're done. Ta-ra.
Take care. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.